Hey, Shalom. I want to first start off giving all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakakodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings unto the elect of the nation of Israel. This is the brother Abadia from the GMS Houston camp, and this is my feedback on this, not only on this video of the artist, the rapper. His name is Mixed Miyagi, and the name of this video is called One Take. And Apostle Tahar said he wants feedback. He wants our feedback on this video, and not only on the video, but on this man, Mixed Miyagi. Okay, so I looked him up outside of I watched the video. So the dude's, he can rap pretty well. He has rhythm. He has flavor. All right. And then you look at you go and look the guy up. And I didn't go all deep and try to jump through hoops to do research on him, but I looked him up, and it says he's originally from hold on, give me a second. Okay, so he's originally from Can Tho, Vietnam, and it say that he moved to Tampa, Florida, and he took to the hip hop culture. And I think this real quick before I continue, through the spirit, of these other nations that have rhythm, they would have, if you look at that, people that look like the other nations, but they're into rap, they can sing, they can dance, they can rap. Rap is really is a form of poetry, putting words together, metaphorically, symbolically. Who does that? Who does that is the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, which are scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, which are the Israelites, according to the scriptures. The scriptures, Yahweh told the 12 disciples, which became apostles, he told them that ye are the salt of the earth. So what does that say? That Israel is the flavor to the earth. We're the ones that have that the rhythm and soul about us. We can dance, we can sing, we can rap, we can really do all things. The scriptures say that Jacob is the form of all things. Okay, so going back to the guy Mixed Miyagi, and that's not a personal opinion. That's through the spirit. You're not gonna have an actual Moabite or Ammonite or a Hamite, or an Elamite, or any of these other nations that has. We all been around them. It's been a observable reality. We've seen them. We've been around them in certain instances, and they are not a lively people. They are very weird ass people. They can't dance, not great singers. And they may do a little something, but not like a so-called Negro, Latino, or Native American. Okay? So you would have to come to the conclusion, dealing with this guy, Mixed Miyagi, through the spiritual, that this guy would have to be, he's an Israelite. How do we know this? Through the spirit. He moved to Tampa, Florida. He didn't get into the culture of the other nations. And, Israel, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, well, let's deal with black culture. Black culture is garbage, but he got into the so-called hip-hop culture. Who's involved with the hip-hop culture? Who's the originators of that? So-called Negroes. And who's into it? So-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Now you have somebody like this individual and the others out there that can rap, that can sing, that can dance, and they look like the other nations, but they're actually Israelites. And I looked into this guy from what I could see. Not looked into him. I looked him up. Sorry, and I believe his mother is Vietnamese, and his father would have to be Judah. Okay, or one of the tribes. Look like a Judite. Okay. I believe his father is a surgeon. I'm not sure. I think I read something on that. I could be wrong. But this guy would have to be a Jake. Now, if his mother was a Jake, so-called Judite or whatever, and his father was a Ammonite or a Moabite, Vietnamese, they would then he would be of the other nations. But the scriptures tell us in Numbers chapter 1, I believe it's verse 18, that the pedigree is declared by the father. Okay, the identity, okay, of a individual is declared by the father. Okay, so this man's nationality would have to be a Hebrew Israelite, based on the fact that he has flavor to him, based on the fact that looking into his father, but more so than the father, it's all spiritual. These other nations are not gonna get into rapping like that, even if they grow up around Jake, and these other nations ain't growing up around us like that. Okay, yeah, they may come and sell products to us, come in our neighborhood, they in our neighborhoods, they sell us their products. Okay, they got the nail salons, the women anyway, they got the laundromats, the corner stores, etc., right? Well, once they get through handling their business, they go live amongst Esau and amongst themselves. All right, so these other nations are not gonna come and live in the same areas that we live in. On a looking at it from on a large scale. The neighborhood I grew up in was all Jake, pretty much. There wasn't none of the Latin tribes was not over there, pretty much at all. In the little segregated area, or the area I grew up in. Okay, and now you go over there now, and I'm talking 20 years ago and plus, 15 years ago plus. And there wasn't no so-called Latin tribes over there. Now you go over there, Issachar is all up over there, and I'm sure some of the other tribes is over there as well. And the point being is that, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans live in the same so-called communities. All right, which means we're catching the same type of hell under the curses. You see? Now the scriptures tell us in Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, I believe the 64th verse, that for breaking the law, statutes, and commandments, one of the penalties was going to be, according to that verse I just called, was going to be that we were going to be scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, and there we should worship other gods of wood and stone. Okay, so that's happened. So Israel is scattered all over the earth. So taking that stance, and they're scattered all over the earth, and they look like the other nations, but they're still undergoing the curses. And as in this example right here with this guy Mix Miyagi, he has flavor to himself. The other nations don't have that flavor. It's not only the so-called white man that can't dance and sing, okay, and rap, but also the other nations. If you've been around the Elamite, they're very weird, dull-ass people. They have their little music and their little culture, but they're not a lively people like that. You know, they're not a flavorful people. The lingo with the words, you know, poetic tongue, and especially of a Moabite, an actual Moabite. They off. They off in the spirit they're completely different from a Jake. You're not gonna have a Moabite or Ammonite that's really into rapping. I don't give a damn if they grow up around Jake. They may try. Oh, good example is, I can't think of the weird, funny, weird looking rapper, Hamite rapper, but it may have been a couple of them. But you see, they trying to emulate Jake, and they just can't do it. The music, the rap song or whatever it was sounded horrible. So that goes for the other nations too. It don't matter if they grew up around Jake or they try to emulate what we do. You know, we're dealing with the rap right now. It's not gonna come off with flavor. It's gonna be off beat. The metaphoric and parabolic talk is gonna be. It won't be there, and it'll just sound bland and weird. Best way I can express it, you know. And that's pretty. Oh, I want to say this too before I get out of here. You know, these other you have other camps, and I use one camp in particular that I can think of. This is the ISUPK, and you know, if this guy came up and said he's from Vietnam, but he's been living in Tampa, Florida, you know, I can assume that they could. It's a strong possibility that they would say, well, then you're not a Jake, because that Nigerian boy that Captain Tazaryak told him he couldn't come to the Passover, I believe, because he wasn't an Israelite. He said that based off of him being from Nigeria, okay, and not looking into the young man's spirit, okay, not trying the spirit. The scriptures say, try the spirit. Was it try the spirit to see if it's of the Most High? Something to that effect. Try the spirit by the spirit. The spirit being the understanding of the scriptures. You know. Oh, the scriptures also say the spirit bear witness in Romans 8 and I believe 16. The spirit bear witness with our spirit that we are the children of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Okay. So going back to ISUPK, it wouldn't be surprising to and I'm using them as an example, and I'm not sure the other camps that, you know, I'm just using them as an example because I can remember this account and we all seen it, you know, of him telling that Nigerian boy that he was, basically he's a Hamite and he couldn't come to the Passover because he's not an Israelite, because he was really dealing with carnality and not dealing with the spirit. Now, being, in this truth, we're supposed to have this knowledge. We're supposed to know these things. We're supposed to know that our people are going to look like the other nations because we've been scattered all over the earth. Okay? Making babies all over the earth. So, of course, you're going to have Israelites looking like these other nations. How do you tell if they're Israelites? Through the Spirit. Through how they conduct themselves. If they're undergoing the curses. You know, that's my feedback. That's my feedback. Lord willing, this video was edifying, and until the next one, I say shalom.